Once upon a time in a vast forest, there lived a little seed nestled in the soil beneath the shade of towering trees. The seed was surrounded by beauty, tall trees with branches that reached the sky, birds chirping above, and squirrels darting through the bushes. But the little seed often felt sad, wondering if it would ever grow tall like the other trees. One day, the wind whispered through the forest, brushing against the little seed's casing.
Why are you sad, little one?
The wind asked.
I want to grow into a big, strong tree like the ones I see around me, but I'm just a small seed. It seems impossible.
The seed replied with a heavy heart. The wind chuckled gently.
Everything great starts small. Be patient. Your time will come.
Encouraged, the little seed tried to stay positive, but seasons passed and nothing changed. It watched as the other trees flourished, their branches swaying proudly in the breeze, while it remained buried, unnoticed. Each day felt like an eternity. Then one spring morning, something miraculous happened. The little seed felt a stirring deep within itself. Slowly, it began to push upward through the soil. It wasn't easy. The earth was heavy, and there were rocks in its way, but it kept pushing, remembering the wind's words. Finally, a tiny sprout emerged from the ground. The seed was no longer just a seed. It was a sapling. It beamed with pride, but when it looked around, it realized how small and fragile it still was compared to the giant trees that loomed over it. Once again, doubt crept into its mind. That evening, an old oak tree nearby, whose branches spread wide like a wise elder's arms, noticed the sapling's worry.
What's troubling you, young one?
Asked the oak.
I've finally grown, but I'm still so small. How will I ever be as tall and strong as you?
The oak smiled kindly.
Do not compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Every tree you see here started as a seed, just like you. It takes time to grow strong. You must be patient, endure the storms, and trust in your roots.
The sapling nodded and continued to grow, though the challenges didn't stop. Some days were sunny, and the sapling stretched its leaves toward the light, drinking in every ray. Other days were stormy. Winds howled, and rain beat down relentlessly, bending the sapling to the ground. It feared it might break. But with each storm, the sapling's roots dug deeper into the soil, anchoring it firmly. Over time, the sapling began to realize that the storms, though frightening, were helping it grow stronger. It learned that growth doesn't always come in the sunshine. Sometimes, the hardest moments bring the most valuable lessons. Years passed, and the sapling grew into a sturdy young tree. Birds began to nest in its branches, and its roots reached deep into the earth. It still wasn't as tall as the oak, but it had grown tall enough to stand proudly in the forest. One day, a young girl from a nearby village came to the forest. She looked tired and sad, carrying the weight of the world on her small shoulders. She sat beneath the young tree, her tears falling silently. The tree, now mature enough to understand the struggles of growth, reached down with its branches, providing her with shade and comfort. After a while, the girl spoke to the tree, as if it were an old friend.
I am not smart like the other at school,
she said softly.
No matter how hard I try, I feel like I'm always behind. I don't think I'll ever be as good as them.
The tree listened and then, in its gentle way, shared the wisdom it had learned over the years.
When I was just a seed,
the tree said,
I too felt small and insignificant. I looked around and thought I'd never be as tall or strong as the others. But I learned that everyone grows at their own pace. The storms I feared actually made me stronger, and the sunshine, though brief, nourished me when I needed it most. You may not see it now, but every effort you make is helping you grow.
The girl looked up at the tree, wiping her tears.
But what if I'm not strong enough? What if I fail?
Failing isn't the end,
the tree replied.
Just as I face storms, you will face challenges. But each challenge teaches you something new. Roots grow deepest when faced with resistance, and strength is built through perseverance.
The girl sat in quiet contemplation. She realized that growth isn't just about success. It's about resilience, about learning from the hard days and trusting that, over time, she would find her own path. As the girl left the forest, she felt a sense of peace, knowing that even the greatest trees had once been small, fragile seeds. And just like them, she would grow at her own pace, shaped by the trials and triumphs of her journey. The tree watched her go and felt a deep satisfaction. It had fulfilled its purpose, not by towering over others or being the tallest tree in the forest, but by sharing its wisdom and providing comfort when it was needed most. And so, the tree continued to grow, standing tall and proud, knowing that life's greatest lessons are not in the final achievement, but in the growth along the way.